Something shifts in women as they approach 40, and no one seems to talk about it. One moment she's running the household, taking care of the kids, planning family holidays. The next moment she's signing up for dating apps, buying new clothes, and texting a guy from the gym. And you're left standing there wondering what just happened to your wife. It's happening all over. Millions of men are watching their reliable, steady wives turn into someone else, someone younger, more rebellious, but with wrinkles. Everyone acts shocked, as if we didn't see the signs. The truth is, we all saw them hidden in biology all along. You think you know her? You think because she's been with you for years, raising kids, building a life together, she's somehow immune to what's coming. But you're wrong. There's a time bomb in every woman's psyche, and it detonates somewhere between 35 and 45. And it's not might go off, it will go off. The question is how much destruction it causes when it does. Men often fail to realize that when a woman hits 40, she isn't the same woman you married. I'm not talking about maturity or wisdom. I'm talking about a complete reprogramming of her brain chemistry, her priorities, and her entire sense of identity. The woman who was content as a wife and mother at 30 becomes ravenous for validation at 40, and that hunger can lead her to make choices that tear apart everything you've built together. Let's face it, every woman's sense of worth is built on a fragile foundation. From the moment she's born, society teaches her that her beauty equals her value. Be pretty, be desired, be wanted. For 20 years from adolescence to her 30s, this program runs smoothly. Men chase her, compliments come easily. She feels valuable. Then biology steps in and starts to rewrite the rules. At 40, she looks in the mirror and sees someone unfamiliar. Not because she looks bad, she just looks different. The face that used to turn heads now struggles to get a second glance. The body that once made men swoon now gets polite nods at best. And it's not about vanity, it's about identity. Her self-worth was built on being desired, and now that desire is slipping away. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a professional athlete. Your whole identity is tied to your physical performance. But then time catches up. You're not terrible, but you're not what you were. You can't do the things you used to. Now, multiply that existential crisis by 10, and you'll start to understand what's happening in her head when she realizes that she's no longer the object of every man's affection. But here's where it gets dangerous. Instead of accepting this natural change, instead of embracing this new phase of life with grace, many women panic. They fight against reality. They wage war against time itself. And the first casualty in that war, your marriage. At 22, a compliment is just background noise. She rolls her eyes, says, I know. But when a 42-year-old woman hears that same compliment, it feels like a jolt of life. It's proof that she's still got it. Validation that she's not invisible. And here's the secret nobody tells you: married women over 40 are the easiest targets for seduction. Not because they're bad people, but because they're starving for something you can't give them anymore. The thrill of being chosen by someone who doesn't have to choose them. Your attention doesn't count because you're already committed. You're married, you've got kids, you're locked in. But a random guy at a coffee shop who notices her, that's pure validation. That's proof she's still desirable. And once she tastes that validation, it's over. Not immediately, but inevitably. Because now she remembers what it feels like to be pursued, to be wanted, to be someone's fantasy instead of their reality. And that memory becomes an itch that your steady love can never scratch. You want to know when your marriage enters the danger zone? It's when she starts talking about her past with a smile instead of embarrassment. When she mentions ex-boyfriends with nostalgia. When she tells stories about her single days and you can see the spark in her eyes instead of relief that they're over. That's when you know the countdown has begun. Here's the brutal truth. A woman's brain rewires as she ages. The reward system that made her feel alive at 25 is barely functional at 45. What used to fill her with pleasure now barely creates a spark. At 20, holding hands made her heart race. At 40, she needs an emotional earthquake just to feel a tremor. Your romantic gestures, the weekends the way you plan, those intimate moments you've perfected, are just routine. She needs bigger, bolder stimulation to feel anything at all. And you're comfortable, you're predictable, you're invisible to her now, and that's when the betrayals happen. Not because she's evil, but because she's desperate to feel alive again, desperate to feel desired, desperate to be more than someone's aging wife. You think you know your woman. But once the desire for novelty kicks in, you're in the danger zone. The signs are there: nostalgia, a longing for her past, new friends, divorced women who'll tell her she deserves better. Social media becomes her new reality, feeding her with fantasies of love after 40, the thrill of starting over. Physical changes come in waves: new skincare, drastic diets, obsessive exercise. She's not trying to look good. She's trying to look young. Then the emotional withdrawal. She needs space. Mysterious commitments, picking fights, being overly nice. It's all a sign. One means she's building a case against you. The other means she's managing guilt. Either way, you're losing her. But here's the sick part. Society encourages this behavior. Every magazine, every talk show, every therapist tells her she deserves happiness. She needs to find herself. She should never settle. And what do they encourage her to do? Destroy the family? For what? A fleeting high of validation. What they don't tell her is that beauty fades. Attention is a drug. Building something lasting matters more than chasing fleeting excitement. But nobody says that. Instead, they feed her the lies that happiness is everything, that she deserves better. The brutal truth is this: modern women were raised to chase. They were taught to crave novelty over stability. They were raised to believe that settling down, committing, building a life with someone was a trap. But once that excitement fades, panic sets in. So what can you do? Watch carefully. Don't look for signs of cheating. Look for signs of panic. The nostalgia for youth. The need for validation. The resentment of responsibility. These are the warning signs. When she detonates, it's not because she hates you. It's because she's terrified. Terrified of aging, terrified of fading into invisibility. And when she hits 40, it all becomes too much. The fantasies, the desire to feel special one last time, it all leads her to destroy everything. Don't say you weren't warned. The 40-year-old woman is a different person entirely. Her priorities, her fears, her sense of self, everything changes. And when she starts getting attention from the wrong places, that's when the countdown begins.